Since 2021, the organization of mobile working in Germany has been subject to co-determination via the so-called Company Modernization Act. Mobile working had become established in many companies and workplaces in Germany by this time, not least due to the coronavirus-related lockdowns. However, some employers are proposing texts for works agreements that contain a whole range of content that is not in the interests of the workforce. Let's take a look at some examples. The scope of application is always defined first. Sometimes it says,
"This works agreement applies to all employees of the company, within the meaning of paragraph 5 section 1 BG with the exception of light-end employees pursuant to paragraph 5 section 3 and 4 BG.
This is critical, as some companies use the term executive employee excessively. Examples with 30% and more are possible. We have already reported on this in separate videos. This creates a two-tier society that is contrary to the works constitution. Equally important is the issue of working from abroad, especially in international companies. However, this is what works agreements say.
The possibility of mobile working from abroad is neither granted nor regulated by this regulation.
This is being done in companies that actually claim to want to facilitate working from abroad. However, they obviously do not want to make this legally secure and binding in the form of works agreements. Occasions for presence are defined very generically in works agreements, so that superiors can interpret them as they wish. This is sometimes the case.
The direct manager may instruct the employee to perform work, in particular for the reasons listed in Appendix 1, or refuse authorization for mobile working on days on which a reason listed in Appendix 1 applies.
Some employers go even further and give managers complete freedom to decide on mobile working.
The manager refuses to approve mobile working if personal, behavioral, or performance-related circumstances prevent mobile working.
The topic of working time recording has received a lot of attention in recent years, partly due to a judgment by the European Court of Justice, according to which employers have significantly more responsibility here than previously assumed. Nevertheless, some employers' proposals state,
employees are responsible for ensuring that their working hours are fully and correctly recorded in the electronic time recording system immediately at the end of the working day.
According to some proposals, end devices are to be used exclusively for work purposes, so any private conversation or internet surfing is already a violation of such company agreements.
All work equipment provided, e.g. iPad, laptop, files, etc., is used exclusively for business purposes. Family members, cohabitants or third parties are not authorized to use the work equipment. Work equipment must be secured against access by third parties. Work equipment must not be left unattended in public areas at any time.
In addition, telephone calls and video conferences should be held in a protected environment.
Business telephone calls or video conferences should only be conducted in a protected environment.
That sounds trivial, but it shifts the entire responsibility onto the employees. The employer actually bears a lot of responsibility for occupational health and safety. Nevertheless, some employers write the following.
Occupational health and safety must be observed during mobile work, checklist for mobile work, Annex 2. If there is any doubt about compliance with occupational health and safety requirements for mobile work, employees must perform their work at the company.
Here, the entire responsibility is transferred to the employee, practical for the employer. Many companies have escalation mechanisms if there is a disagreement between the employee and the boss about mobile working. However, some companies do without these completely, leaving employees at the mercy of arbitrariness. Some companies also shift the responsibility for data security onto the employees.
Employees are responsible for the loss of information only locally stored.
This is just a selection of the wording in works agreements that can be critical for employees. Attentive works councils are very important here in order to be able to take the interests of the workforce into account. We will keep you up to date. See you soon.